Okay, I'm Thomas Hueglin, and I teach political science at Wilfred Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario. I have been in Canada for over 25 years, and I've always been interested in federalism. As a matter of fact, I have two subfields of expertise. One is comparative federalism, and the other one is more political theory. I've even when I came to Canada, I had this idea that Canadians should, from a comparative perspective, look towards the European Union rather than what they always look at, namely the neighboring model of the American federal state, because I always felt that Canada was sort of a different type of federal system that was actually much more comparable to the European Union than to the classical model of the American federal state. And I've been campaigning on this theme for over 20 years now, and not many people listened, but I'm delighted that all of a sudden now there seems to be more interest for this type of let's say unconventional comparison. And the reason is very simple, that we live in a much more complicated world now, characterized by processes of globalization, multi-level governance. In some instances, one might even argue that the boundaries between nation states and the world of international relations becomes blurred. And Canada always was sort of a strange kind of federal system. In America, everything is clear. There's a constitution that divides powers, and each level of government does whatever they have the power to do. And if there's a problem, or if there is an usurpation of powers by one level of government, then it usually ends up before the courts. So American federalism is a model of, or a practice of, constitutional federalism with clearly divided powers, and ultimately it's a judicial system. And in Canada, it's never worked that way because various historical reasons, but mainly a need because of the higher level of regional diversity, the conflict between English and French Canada. So Canadians have always had a need to negotiate compromise between and among the various governments. And therefore, Canadians have always felt kind of inferior because they thought theirs was a federation that was somehow incomplete or not as perfect as the American one. And they have been very reluctant to look at the European Union as a much more comparable system, because in the European Union, of course, you have member states. The member states are sovereign nation states. They're not Canadian provinces. But nevertheless, the main mode or mechanism by which the fundamental decisions are made in the European Union have always been negotiations among member states. And one can, of course, criticize the European Union for all kinds of inefficiencies, lack of transparency, perhaps even lack of democracy, but it is also a tremendous success story over the last, 35, 40 years. A continent that was characterized by conflict and warfare, has been characterized by conflict and warfare for over 1,000 years, all of a sudden cooperates peacefully and accomplishes an amazing amount of things, from the common market to the freedom of movement, freedom of services, mobility, and all that negotiated among member states, which for a long time were rivals and enemies rather than friends and cooperative partners. So I think the European Union is a tremendous success story, and if Canadians feel kind of dissatisfied with their system for its inefficiencies because the Constitution with its allocation of powers doesn't really work, and therefore there's this need for intergovernmental conferences, for negotiations, for compromises, opting out provisions for Quebec, this, that, and the other, then I would say look at the European Union and how much it has achieved by a relative similar way of making compromise and reaching decisions. So I really think if you redefine federalism in a way that is not like the American federal model, but more like a negotiating system among equal partners, then not only does the European Union become quite comparable to the Canadian federal system, but also it can give Canadians some confidence that maybe not learning from the European Union, but being inspired by the success story of the European Union, they can become more confident that the way politics and policy making is done in Canada is not so bad after all.